Yes.
Everybody has water.
You're actually live right now.
Oh, I'm live. Well, I'm going to start with a drink of water. I'm, again, so glad that you guys are all here tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about Mexican quinoa. And what in the world is quinoa? And I wanted to start, make sure all of you have something to drink because we need our water intake. How much water should we have every day?
10 cups.
You know, take your body weight divided by 2 in ounces. And take that divided by 10, and that tells you how many 10-ounce glasses you should have a day. So if somebody weighs more, they should drink more. But anyway, and the other thing I want to bring up tonight is that you can diffuse these drinks with whatever. Tonight I just cut up cuties. You can cut up cucumbers. You can cut up lemons, limes, strawberries, whatever. Put them in your water, and instead of drinking soda, you've got a flavor to your water, and yet it tastes good. It's something different, because so many people say, I don't like water, boring. Okay, so tonight we're going to do Mexican quinoa. How many of you have heard of quinoa? Okay, most of you. Quinoa is probably the oldest grain, one of the oldest grains known. It's back in the Inca Indian time, so it's very old. It's a complete protein. It has all the essential amino acids. Amino acids are building blocks for protein, and so it's probably a better grain than rice. And so how in the world do you cook this stuff?
Where does it come from?
It comes from South America, but I was learning tonight that it can be grown here, and it gets to be a very tall plant. How tall?
Probably about 6 to 7 feet.
Okay, so anyway. Just to
Here
let
is
you
in
know.
here in Kansas, or here is in the United States?
Here in Kansas.
Here in Kansas?
I grew it up in the lake.
Oh, wonderful.
So what I wanted to do tonight is, what is in here is 1 cup of quinoa and 2 cups of water. And usually what I always do is I will, just so you can see, you know, what it looks like. And what I do, for me, I like to soak my grains. If I know I'm going to make a quinoa dish tonight, I'll put it on water in the morning before I leave for the day and just leave it soak in the water. Or at least 15 minutes. You don't have to. I do with all my grains because I've noticed if it does that, it's a fluffier grain. And so anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to cook this. You stick it on high, bring it to a boil, bring it down for 15 minutes and just leave it set and it's ready. Is that easy? Yeah. I don't even remember how long brown rice is, but so I made up a batch, and so what we're going to do is we're going to have, you guys can share, take one and share that around, and I can make more copies if you want or whatever. So when I want a really fast meal,
We can share.
yeah, and send one back there for them to share. I don't even put all this that's in here, but it calls for 1 cup of quinoa. So I made this 1 cup of quinoa, and look how much 1 cup made. It just really multiplied. Be fruitful and multiply. And the next ingredient, can you read that? What's it say?
A little pepper, mild enchilada sauce.
Yeah, some enchilada sauce. You know what else I've thrown in here when I don't have enchilada sauce? I'll just throw in, and it says 1 can, I'll just throw in a cup of salsa, either medium or, you know, mild, whatever you like, hot if you like that. And what's next? Chopped green chilies. Okay, we're use these.
This is interesting. When you have the ingredients up here, sweetheart, it says 1 cup quinoa and 1 10-ounce can
Mild
of
enchilada
nothing.
sauce.
It's
Oh,
real,
you
it's
can't
real
say
things.
It's there, you have to.
Oh, it's mild
I
enchilada sauce.
see what you're saying.
Oh my goodness, it really is.
Yeah, right.
Very faint.
Mild enchilada sauce?
Yeah, it didn't copy very well. I noticed that. Okay,
What's the third one? Green peppers.
if you want a
Can?
pen
Yeah.
to write that in, Rick, there's a whole drawer full of pens over there. If you get one of
Are
those
they the
pens.
chili peppers?
Okay.
Chilies?
Enchilada sauce, mild green chili Okay, what's next? Black beans, a can of black beans.
Is this salad, if you make it ahead of time, like in the morning, does it sit well?
Yes. In fact, it's very flavorful. I usually always make this like the day before and eat it the next. But we haven't. Sometimes I make it, eat it, you know, and there's gonna be plenty leftovers. And then we can eat on the next night. And it'll be good and flavorful. You know, everybody's busy, aren't we? Like, I had a day, I knew I was gonna be doing this today. It was 5 o'clock, and I said, I better get ready for tonight. And so, we all need fast, quick meals. Okay, black beans, what's next? Cilantro. Most of the time, I don't put that in. I just delete, I don't do it, because I don't wanna take the time to take it off and cut it. So, I'll do it tonight just because it's here, and I took the time, but you don't have to. Okay, and a teaspoon of cumin. Do any of you use cumin? Cumin is a wonderful seasoning, wonderful.
You know, are you putting in a full teaspoon or a half teaspoon?
You know what?
Or
I
does it-
really like it, so. You know, for me, recipes are suggestions.
Okay, so I'm gonna pop up for one. Okay.
Yeah, they're just suggestions. And then, I have a teaspoon chili powder. Now that one I'll follow because chili
Okay.
powder is pretty potent. Okay, so this is now boiling. So I'm gonna turn this to low. And I'm gonna set my timer for 15 minutes. We'll let that do its thing. Okay, my chili powder is in. And then salt, I'm not gonna put much in. And again, I always use the kosher salt. We talked about that last week. Why do we really use not regular salt? What does this have?
Potassium.
Exactly. The store-bought salt is,
I
and you
I
weren't
watched
even
your
here.
FaceTime today.
Oh,
I did a
did
review,
you?
yes. I made my husband watch it.
Good. Have any of you tried to make lettuce wraps since you were here?
I did
Good. Did
with
you like 'em?
romaine, baby romaine. A slapped lettuce was a perfect sized wrap. Yes, and I love it. It's a wonderful substitute for bread.
It
You don't
is.
even miss the bread.
It is,
Yeah.
and it's, you know, not that, it's easy to make. So again, for those of you who weren't here, when we use real salt or, what's the red, pink salt?
Himalayan.
Himalayan.
Himalayan salt,
Sea salt.
sea salt, rock salt, those have the full nutritional. They have the micronutrients. They have like 60 to 70 micronutrients.
Over 80.
The what?
Over 80.
Over 80. Whereas when you go to the store and you buy Morton's or whatever, it has, what are the two ingredients?
Iodine.
Sodium
Potassium.
chloride.
All right.
And sometimes, if you're lucky, it has what added? Iodine. Okay? So, that's why you want to do that. Okay, I am gonna leave out the cheeses. If you want, you could add those. And I went ahead and cut up some tomatoes. You know, most of the time I don't do this either, because it's another step I don't wanna do. And tonight I added I also cut up avocados, which I usually don't do. I'm just telling you, you can come home, open cans, dump this together and have a meal. And that's what our world is about. And yet it's healthy and nutritious.
We're getting the deluxe version.
So, how easy is that? And look at all the nutritional value.
Looks good.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Anything with avocados. I
Oh, me too.
The enchilada sauce is something I don't think I've ever made a recipe with that. It's something that's just not in our house ever. And since
Now you can have this full, is your preference?
Cold.
Okay.
It's called casserole, so do you bake it when you, or you just warm it up?
You know
That
what?
would be good with
I
cheese on
bake it.
top.
In fact, I think I'll warm this up just a little bit because I want to talk about cookies while we're
Oh,
warming this up real quick.
okay.
Just so you can see how easy it is to warm it up. I mean, put it together. Any questions on that?
Smells good. Is that cumin?
Now, can you buy that quinoa in a regular grocery store?
Absolutely. You know, it used to be like way in the back, and now because it's so popular, you get it way in the front. Even Walmart is really getting on the ball when it comes to healthier cooking items. For those of you who go shopping. So I was looking, I wanted to share with you
Yeah, we don't know how much.
this website somebody sent me. One of my clients, her boss's daughter. And so I got on here and I go, oh, there's some great recipes on here. Now let me find it. And I made some cookies. Quinoa cookies. Can you imagine such a thing?
Wow. Cookies.
So quinoa is versatile. It can be in casseroles and it can be in breakfast cereal. What I would do is cook it up and you can put fruit over the top of it and turn it into a breakfast, food. Or like now, we're turning it into a supper. Okay, I'm almost there.
Vivian, can I ask you a question? I know you said protein, so
Uh-huh.
how much protein is in like a serving?
Well, it says here 3 grams in 1/4 of a cup.
Okay,
What I made was 1 cup, and you saw how much there was.
and then there's
So-
also carbohydrates, I'm assuming, in there also.
Yeah. Of course, but these are good carbs.
Yeah.
I know we have so many talks, 28 grams of carbs,
Okay,
but we've got to have carbs. That's what our body functions on. Okay, it's called the Variant, VARIANT, Variant Veggie, VEGGIE.com. TheVariantVeggie.com. And I was in here, and this young lady, these kids, they're like teenagers, early 20s, whatever, coming up with these websites and all these awesome recipes. So, anyway, I just found that I went in there, there's all kinds of cool recipes. So, I went online, and under quinoa, if you go under quinoa recipes, look out, all kinds of stuff. And so one of them, because I had some leftover quinoa in my fridge, and I thought, oh, what can I make with this? And I saw these cookies. So dark chocolate quinoa cookies. Now, I learned something. I learned that, cookies and milk are a wonderful thing. And so, while that's warming up, we're gonna ruin your appetite.
Have a drip first. That's the way to go.
Yeah.
that's what I'm on.
Exactly.
Yes, you did.
Although, you know what, this is warmed up. So maybe we won't do that. I think this is all warmed up. See how fast that was? That didn't take long at all.
But when you put that in a casserole dish, shouldn't you do that? It wasn't for very long, it was to melt the cheese on top.
Probably. I do put mine in a casserole and bake it when I have more time, but sometimes I literally
Quick.
dump. I'll come home, get my quinoa cooking, change my clothes. While that's done, I'm dumping all my other ingredients. By the time I have all that's already cooked. I'll dump it together and it's ready. So it really is a fast meal. And I'm gonna talk about this real quick and then we're gonna shut that off and then we'll do samples. So with the dark chocolate quinoa cookies, I used gluten-free gluten-free flour, just because I like to do gluten-free when possible. And this one I have found to work probably the best, but you can use regular flour. And because it called for 2 different sugars, I replaced one of the sugars, the coconut sugar, with applesauce. So it has more of a dense consistency to it. And my girlfriend said, if you switch out a dry, you replace it with a dry. So that's what I learned.
But your applesauce will make those moist.
It sure has. So anyway, for anybody who wants to take a picture of that recipe, this is just a bonus for tonight, for coming. Any questions before we go off air, so to speak, at all? Have you learned anything new tonight? Okay, good, good. Okay, until next time, this is Vivi's Vegan Venue saying goodbye.
Vivi's vegan food.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.